Hello, friends. I am Natalie Dawn Hansen. I'm so grateful that you have joined us today for this video series that I am calling A Neighbor's Reality, how the coronavirus is affecting lives. And the whole reason why I felt this kind of tug to do this was to bring to light the varying realities we are all facing. So even though we are all at home, social distancing, we are all still, I think, for the most part, living very different realities based on the work that we do, the roles we play. And so I'm so excited to be introducing to you today one of my dearest friends. She is a teacher and a mom, Miss Mareen Biss.
Hello, hello.
Woo! Welcome to the show, Mareen.
Thank you.
So glad to have you here today. See, before we really jump in, this is the true thing. She is a teacher and she is a mom. This is so real life. This is like reality TV right here. I love it. Before we really dive in to the conversation today, once Mareen has a moment to talk with her son, that was so awesome. I love it. I just want you to take a moment, Mareen, to introduce yourself to the people. Is that great or what? I love
it.
We planned it to be real life. It's so I love it. Because that is so.
I thought the house was quiet.
Right, of course. And the minute we hit air, oh, this is so good. So can you just, before we get started, before we jump into our content, can you just share with people who you are, your family situation, all of that good stuff, whatever you want to share with us to just introduce yourself.
Sure. Scott and I, we've been married for just about 19 years now. We have 3 sons, ages, very shortly within the month here will be 16, 12, and 9. 16. Wow.
Holy, that's crazy.
Exciting though. He's a fantastic driver. He's been doing it for a little while. We farm, which is why our kids have experience driving. And I teach at our local elementary. I'm a 4th grade teacher. What else should I share? Oh, we live in the country. We live on the family farm. We've transitioned both my husband's farm and my family farm. So a lot of generational history there, and very much in both of our blood. So our kids are out there all the time, as am I, as much as possible.
That's so amazing. We were just talking about that before we got live. I said, what are you boys doing? She's like, they're out working on cleaning tractors or doing whatever. And so I love that they are just, it's just this natural part of who they are and the life they live. And it's beautiful that you guys are able to do that. Yeah. All right, so we're going to just jump right in. We're going to talk about 2 of the major roles that you play right now. I mean, we as moms play a ton of roles, but I really want to kind of highlight your role as a teacher and your role as a mom, because I, for one, cannot imagine having to be at home doing both right now. I'm mom at home trying to be teacher, and that's a whole nother ball of wax, let me tell you. But what I would like you to start with is to explain for everybody what your life was pre-COVID-19. Life meaning life with kids, your schedules, routines, anything that you want to share that this was life before this.
Sure, yeah. Life before this was all about running with our kids' activities, organizations that my husband and I are both part of. And so every morning we ran down the daily schedule with everybody, who's going where, who's picking up when, who gets to ride the bus home, who has to stay after school. And then right down to who's got to make supper tonight, where is it at, all that kind of stuff. So very much more of a regimented schedule, dictated by other people's schedules, maybe is how to say that.
So true.
When this all hit, of course, very similar to you, Natalie, we were coming right out of a basketball season where we were going, 2-3 nights a week to games and, kids with practices and things. And so we were, waiting for the short lull before the spring sports all hit. Mm-hmm. And so it kind of felt like we were going on this freight train and suddenly hit the brakes real fast, and we all just
a good analogy. Yes.
Yeah. So busy. We were also just getting ready to think about gearing up for spring work. Mm-hmm. Now, wow.
Yeah, now that's the transition I want you to go to. Okay, so that was pre. Now post. What is it like for you? As teacher and as mom, if you can try to.
Oh, absolutely.
Both.
We don't start our mornings anymore with the rundown of who's going where and what. I don't think we've even talked about a daily
Are you going
schedule.
to the living room today for that?
Yeah, right. The only thing we probably had to talk about as far as scheduling is like some of the kids have had meetings live face-to-face, or not face-to-face, but Zoom call-y meetings
Yep.
with teachers and things, and trying to manage that. And we really have went back to a lot more paper and pencil, just because yikes, we're trying to help everybody and support everybody and get to those things. On top of, yes, for me, teaching from home, that's a whole interesting can of worms.
Especially elementary kids.
Yep.
Where you have that all day contact, that you're down on the floor with them, you're engaging with them. How different is this for you?
This week has been good for me. Otherwise, I was really struggling for a while there. Just, you're so used to having such contact with the kids, and they're just such a big part of your life, and you're a big part of their life, and it just gets cut off, and you don't really know how to move forward with that. This week has been a lot better. My kiddos were able to get Chromebooks, and so they're online now. So I do a lot. I sit by my computer a lot, just so that they know I'm right there. They're always making comments and stuff when they do get on. I encourage that, and then I try to be within just a couple minutes so that they know that I really am. I'm still here.
I'm right here. I care.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So that has been good. It's even though I can't hear their voices, it's been good to see their words come across the screen, and trying to do video lessons. Wow, that is all brand new.
That's a whole new ball of wax.
I am working on finding fantastic lighting in my house to try and not look tired when I'm doing them.
Share with you the light I have right up here that is like glaring down at me. I'll send you the link.
Yeah, right. I'm sitting in our living room right now, at this point in the afternoon, and it's
natural light.
It's pretty good, but when I do my morning message, it's not quite so great. I was outside this morning, so it's kind of
that's nice,
chirping and stuff. So, but yeah, it's different. So I'm by my computer a lot. The kids will come in and out with questions they have. Our third grader still is has to do a lot with us, which is fine. The other two are a little bit more self-sufficient, but just trying to make sure that, yes, you really do have everything done. Our oldest one, they do quite a bit online already, so we're not checking in on him so much.
That's what I found too, which was so helpful for my older two, knowing that they didn't have to learn Google Classroom because of what they've been doing, which was a huge learning curve just for our younger ones then, but yet they had the older brothers to be able to, even me, like, okay, wait, how do you do this part? And we were able to figure it out, and now everybody seems to have a good handle on it, which is nice.
Yeah, which is nice.
Yeah, but I empathize for all of you teachers who I know the reason you're in education is because you love kids, and now all of a sudden it's like they just get taken away from you. You don't have that moment of really saying goodbye, any closure. No. And I know that there's those of you in education have huge hearts, and there's worry on your mind, making sure everybody's okay and taken care of, and still sort of learning along, the path that you've laid out. And so I've been praying a lot for you teachers, knowing that that's just heavy on your heart, right?
Yeah.
That you're doing the best you can. And then as a mom, here's what I love so much about this, Mareen, is that you then, as a mom, can understand what all of your students' parents are probably going through. And isn't that powerful too? That helps you, I'm assuming, as an educator, so that you can kind of on the flip side understand there is a little bit of a learning curve that's going to happen for you all.
Yeah, and especially when I'm laying things out for my families, I hope that I laid it out very nicely. I tried to be very simple in directions and organizing things. I'm looking forward to feedback just to find out how I did on that. But because I have experience with the things I am sending out and parents don't. And so a lot of going back and saying, okay, I have to really either rename things so it's easy to find, or I have to explain it more. But the balance of not wanting to throw out 6 pages of instructions for things, that's a lot.
That's overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's so true. And I know that for any of the teachers that I've talked to up to this point, there has been this deep underlying level of grace and understanding, right? Is that kind of where you're feeling too?
Yep. Right now, if I can just be in contact with the kids and they're doing some things and they're trying, that's what's most important to me.
Right.
Yep.
And to just believe and hope that we all truly are just doing the best we can to get through these times.
Yep.
Okay, so moving on just to another question. What do you feel has been one of your biggest challenges, both professionally and personally, with this situation we're in?
Professionally, I would say it's that connection. We've done a lot of, as adults working together, we've done a lot of Zoom meetings, but it's just not the same as being with your colleagues every day, being with your students every day, being in that environment. It's different. It's lonely.
Yeah, you're right.
And I would say on a family end, not having that freedom to go do the things we want to do, or see the people we want to see. Some of mine are struggling with not being in that atmosphere of school and seeing others every day and friends and things. And so it's a challenge, and trying to balance that. And we've given a lot of alone time for the kids. Some of them, I have one that really thrives when they can just have some alone time away from everyone and kind of just come back to a balance, and just trying to give them everything they need. That's probably been the challenge through this. And then you don't have answers for them.
Exactly. And to recognize what exactly those needs are, because it is something so different. It's needs on a new level. So even though we might have one who really needs his time alone in a room or really wants social outings, when we do life, typically it's just as like it's happening. And then all of a sudden we're in this new situation. It's like, oh boy, what do you need? I don't know.
Yeah.
What is it that you're needing now? And we've had to really talk through some of that. So I can relate to some of those challenges. And it's just, don't you think it's really pushing us to communicate at a deeper level than perhaps we ever have? I've had conversations with my kids that I'm like, gosh, how have we never talked about this? And so it's really bringing to light some new things. What about disappointment? So we talked about challenges. And I know that this time for many, they've experienced so many disappointments because so many things have been canceled. So for you and your family, have you experienced, what are some of the biggest disappointments that you're just kind of having to deal with and work through?
A big one for us is my parents spend all winter in Florida, and they made the choice to come home early. My mom had some doctoring that needed to happen, so they wanted to quarantine before then. But that's been really tough because we haven't seen them for so long, and we know they're home. They're just 11 miles away. We've delivered groceries, but we just can't see them and go do all the fun grandma and grandpa things.
Yeah, I know.
That's been tough. And
especially
with Easter,
I don't want to interrupt, but especially for when you and your kids, that's part of your everyday life is seeing them. You know, for some families, they don't see grandparents maybe once a year or a couple times a year, but for you, it's solid. It's a consistent relationship in their life. So that, again, it's something we have to help our kids work through. So that's the same situation we're in too.
Yeah. I would say the other, at this point, we're handling it fairly well. I think Holy Week and Easter are a big holiday for us. And so not having all those people around us and in our home and hosting and getting to enjoy those relationships. We did some online Zoom calls with family, which was helpful, but again, not the same as the real person.
I know. I don't know how many times I've heard my boys say, I just wish we could see our cousins. I know. Everybody's kind of in that same boat of just missing their people. And I feel like we're missing people even more because we can't see one another. Even if we couldn't see them for another 3 months, it's the fact that we can't now go and see them that I think is just really hard to accept at times. That finality that we're just not used to, or that structure around it.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to better things, shall we? Like brighter things, because we know, and I think we've alluded to it a little bit, that in the midst of what is very challenging and can be a big struggle for many, there are also wild blessings in the midst of it. And so I know the ones that we're experiencing. I would love to know if you have any to share, any blessings that you've seen happen in the midst of all of this.
I would say for us, just an overall, Scott and I have tried to be a lot more intentional. We try to be very intentional, but I think we've both taken the attitude during this time. We're going to use this time to build deeper roots in our kids. And so we've poured a lot of time and energy into being very purposeful in doing things with them and sharing things with them from when we were younger. And, you know, you do that to an extent. You don't always, we're just doing it more. Things that we did at that age, or they did, or we're really learning a lot more about everything that they like and that they do.
Exactly.
We've had, this is just a silly thing that we've started doing. We've had this book of Mad Libs, and if you know me at all, we go to basketball games, and my youngest son, we always have a bag of stuff just so he has something to do that's not necessarily
yes, I know.
device. So this Mad Lib book it's huge. It's like this thick, and we've lugged it everywhere and never done a single one of them. And so every day at one of our family meals, we do like 3 or 4 of them, and they're so
and then
corny.
You giggle and laugh and
Yep. So it's been a good time for us to bond. And ironically, the pieces that you have to put in there have fit with our son's grammar lessons.
Oh, that's awesome. Adjectives, adverbs, words that end in ly. Or I love it. That's
so awesome. Look at us accidentally teaching our children.
I rock. It rocks. It's so good. Do you know what I love so much about that is absolutely, in 10 years, when you say, hey, what's a memory you have, that is one that they will probably remember. And don't you think that's what you're saying about being intentional and spending time with them, so that when they look back at this time, what is it that they are going to remember? They're going to remember that mom and dad were with us, that we had fun. Those are so, I think of how life was before this, and yes, even those might have been intentions on our mind, but so often there just wasn't time to fit in that kind of fun, at least every day.
Yeah.
So that is, I agree. That is just a beautiful blessing. I love that.
Yeah. And I would say another rich blessing for our family has been, we, in the midst of just when your kids get older and you're running a lot more, most of us will sit down for a meal, depends upon the season. But we've, almost every meal has been all 5 of us together. We've been a lot more intentional about making sure we have prayers before we eat. And another thing for us, being Catholic, we can go to Mass every day now just because it's online, and that wasn't something that ever worked into our schedule with the timing of things. And so we are so blessed to be able to spend that time also as a family. We don't do it every day, but definitely more than we were ever able to. And so again, putting those deep roots down of those things that are, so you want to be intentional about, but you don't always make the time to be intentional about it.
Oh, so good, Mareen. In fact, just before this, I had a chance to visit with or interview my pastor. And one of the things we talked about, and this is something I've believed for a long time, is that faith formation in our kids does not happen in the church. It was never meant to happen in a church building. We as parents have been given this beautiful responsibility to build our kids up in the faith. And look at this. We now are it's almost like we're being forced. Okay, here you are in your homes. Get to it, do faith. And so how beautiful that you have recognized that this is an opportunity that you can lift that up, that you can really dive a little deeper, show them what faith looks like in home in a different way, in a new way. And that's really cool. I love that. That's so great. All right, this has been such a great conversation. My last question I want to ask you today is if you have any encouragement or tips that you would give to one any other teachers, because I know teachers are on all sorts of spectrums. Like you said, like this week I finally like felt okay. So if you have tips to any teachers that might be still struggling, or tips to any parents who are trying to do this teaching at home, if you would have any, what would be some other encouragement or tip that you would love to just kind of end with today?
Teachers, keep doing it, whatever it is. I have found my families have given me so much grace in mistakes, things I forgot to put in. They've been fantastic. It's scary, do it anyways. Videos, scary, do it anyway.
So good.
I've had some really bad, terrible ones, and my husband has looked at them and said, yeah, but what will your students think? And then I send it, because you know what?
They
my
will
students
love it.
Want to see me, and it's about them. Keep doing it. It's for the kids.
So good.
As a mom and a teacher, you know, you see a lot of things come through, all these opportunities for new technology things. Try it, do it. We learned during this COVID situation, 3 of us in our family are not opera lovers. 2 of my children thought they were very cool. The Metropolitan Opera in New York was offering, you could watch operas, and so we watched 2.
Oh, that's so cool.
I don't need to watch anymore. 2 of my children were ready to watch them for the next month.
Wow, that is
but
really.
I think if it comes out, try it. We watched an Omni Theater movie the other night. How cool is that?
Yes, we've
Yes.
watched a couple of those too.
We've played more board games
Oh
than
my
we
goodness.
know.
Same with us.
We have some of us are doing a book club together, just so we can get our reading in.
And I love that.
Yeah, we've pulled a lot of, just because we have some Netflix things. We've pulled some of those old movies we remember growing up with. I love the movie Rudy. I cried through it again. So it's kind of fun to pull that out with the kids, which we maybe wouldn't have made as much time to do those things with them. So it's kind of fun just to relive it through their eyes. And we've given lots and lots and lots of outside time. We are fortunate we have the space outside, being out in the country here. But yeah, all those little things we've wanted to do, and building forts, and just being in the yard and things, and go do it. Spend time with them. It's fun to embrace the technology, but it's really a lot of fun too to get rid of it and go outside without it.
Just be creative.
Enjoy it.
I love it, Mareen. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for being here. This has been lovely. And for all of you watching today, I am just so grateful that you were able to tune in. I hope that you were encouraged. And Mareen, before I close, I just want to pray for you and for all the teachers today. Can I do that?
Please do.
All right. Awesome and gracious God, we give you thanks today, Lord, for your mercy, for your grace. We give you praise for your son, Jesus, Lord, who is the one that we place our hope this day and always, God, because in the midst of struggle and challenge and hardship, we know that we can count on you, that you are indeed the God that you say you are, a faithful God, a loving God, a God who never abandons and never gives up for us, and a God who always uses everything for his good, for the people who love him, Lord. And we give you praise for that today. And I give you especially a special praise for all of the teachers and educators and administrators and school workers, school staff that are working so hard, Lord, to keep the education going to their students. And even though connections have been severed in the way that we've always known, Lord, we are so grateful that there's technology that allows us to stay connected at some level. And I just pray that you give all of the teachers and administrators and staff the confidence and the courage and the wisdom to continue to do the work that they're doing, Lord. And we just give you praise for all of the efforts and for all of the courage that they've already shared. We ask all of this in your son's name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen, my friend. Thank you so much for being here, and for all of you watching. Thanks again for joining. Stay tuned for the next video. Take care.
See ya.